Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Fall 17 Undergraduate Research Talk for first year seminars from the Office of Science Engagement. I'm Dr. Vess. The first thing I want you all to do is go to this link here on the screen. This will give you access to this presentation from now until the end of time. There are lots of helpful links and resources in this presentation, and I know you guys won't remember, so it's good to get this so you can play around at will. One thing I like to do to start off any presentation is tell you a little bit about myself so you know where my perspective is coming from. I also want to highlight that every time you see something yellow and underlined like this in a presentation, it's a link to either some fun Dr. Vess humor, little bit of nerd humor there, or to a helpful resource related to undergraduate research. About me, I grew up in a small Appalachian town in Virginia, Covington. I'm a first generation college student. I went to James Madison. I was a psychology major for a day, and then I was a biology major. I started out pre-med, and my pre-med advisor told me that I needed to do undergraduate research to get into medical school, and I said, okay, and I started looking for undergraduate research labs. I got into my lab my first semester of sophomore year. It was behavioral ecology on this cute little salamander here, and I like to tell students at this point that doing undergraduate research is important for skill building. It doesn't necessarily matter if your research is directly related to your career goals. It's about skills. You do have to be interested in the research, that matters, but it doesn't have to be in your field. In fact, for some students in some fields, it can reduce your probability of success by trying to stay within the box of, let's say, health or cancer, or marine biology sometimes is a challenge. So just keep those things in mind. I eventually decided that going to med school wasn't for me, and that was partly because my undergraduate research advisor worked on me for about 3 years. He said I would be mean as a physician and I would be unhappy, and I eventually agreed with him. I liked discovering things. I liked forging my own path, and I hated memorizing things, and med school was going to be a whole bunch of all of those things that I didn't like. And my undergraduate research experience was transformative for me, so I went to graduate school to get a PhD in biology because I wanted to give back to other students, to give them the opportunities that I had for a transformative experience and to increase success. I've taught high school a couple of times. I've worked in a museum. I was at Virginia Tech before coming to Penn State. This is my first week at Penn State. I was really excited to see the lion. Just a little bit about my office. The Office of Science Engagement helps students with research, global experiences, and career developments that are all complementary to your coursework, but separate from. This is the website to my office. There are all sorts of helpful resources there. You all should go there and check things out. My office only exists to help you all gain access to experiences outside of the classroom that will help you succeed as you move forward. Right now, we have about 78% of Eberly College of Science students participating in one of these kinds of activities, and we want to have every student in the college participate in two, because that's what helps you be most successful. Students with a 4.0 and no experience cannot be successful. The 3.0 student with lots of experience is going to always outcompete the 4.0 student with no experience, and sometimes even the 2.5 student with experience will outcompete anyone with less experience. So keep that in mind. Experience is key. Here again are some fun links. This is my email address and my office location. You are encouraged to get in touch with me. I tell students too, give me about 2 business days to respond. If I don't respond in that window, please follow up because it just means something weird happened, and don't feel bad about it. Some things we're going to cover today: why, what, when, where, and how to get involved in undergraduate research, kind of the nuts and bolts. A lot of times students think that to do undergraduate research, to check the box that said I did it, I'm supposed to do it, it's good for me, but you really need to understand why. These are the 21st century skills. We used to call them soft skills. Now they're essential skills. And these are the things that all the Fortune 500 companies, graduate schools, med schools say they want you to have: critical thinking, the ability to work in a team, good communication skills, the ability to use computers, be able to manage projects, to be creative, all these sorts of skills that don't show up on your transcript. So your transcript from Penn State shows that you know something about biology, chemistry, physics, math, stats, biochemistry, microbiology, biotechnology, science, all those things. Your set of experiences serve as the evidence, as the data that you know how to do these other things, that you have these 21st century skills. Why do students do undergraduate research? This is what students tell me. This is a link up here to a Penn State student's video blog about what she got out of research. I'm just going to highlight a few. Some of the skills are science related, so they're technical skills, but a lot of them are time management, communication. When you teach and share knowledge with others, you understand it at a deeper level and you retain it better. It helps you decide what you want to do with your life, helps you dive deeper, apply the content knowledge from your classroom. It helps you build a professional network. All of us need help from other people to get where we're going. You can build your resume. One of my favorite things is you can increase your confidence, and that's partly because there are only a handful of people around the world that are doing research in the area you're doing research in, and you become an expert very quickly, and it feels very powerful to do that. Now, one of the things when you're getting involved in undergraduate research is you need to review your expectations. Faculty don't help you because they have to, it's because they want to. They don't have to engage undergraduates in research. They don't get rewarded for it. This is a nice horror movie, or a wonderfully horrible horror movie. Faculty engage students in undergraduate research because they appreciate your energy, your commitment. They want to help you get where you're going. They want to invest in the future of their discipline, and they sometimes need extra hands in the lab or doing work on a particular research question, and you can help with that. But you have to be committed to that research because you are a risk. When you walk in the research lab, you don't know anything and can't really contribute. I love this slide too. So this is another review your expectations. When you reach out to faculty, you can't expect to be always the exception to the rule. Like, oh, they're definitely going to love me. I'm going to be one that they give the chance to. You crazy. None of us are special. Your job is to convince the faculty that you are committed, that you are worth their investment in time and resources. So that means being excited about research. That means being well prepared. It means that it's not 100% about you. It's about what you can bring to the table and how you can contribute to the research enterprise. This is my other, what is research about? This is Dr. Vessa's magic wand. This is the band Journey, and this is a link to one of their videos. They play their songs at every football game. So if I could anoint you all undergraduate researchers magically when you walk in the door, I would, but it's a journey that takes time. So the one and done, the one semester and out, is usually not going to get you in the lab because it takes a long time to learn the techniques, the thinking skills, and get the background you need to contribute in meaningful ways. Different labs will actually require you to contribute different amounts of time. Some will not take you into the lab unless you commit to 2 semesters and a full summer. And some labs want you to commit 5 hours a week, some 10, some as many as 20 hours a week during the academic year. And there are no particular rules in this respect, which I like. But every time you want to ask me, like, what do faculty do? And I'm like, well, it depends. What do they prefer? There are no rules. You have to get to know each faculty member individually and learn about what their expectations are before you can get involved in their research. You can do research volunteer for academic credit or for pay. During the academic year, it's more of a challenge to get paid. It's easier to get paid in the summer. Volunteering is the lowest level commitment, and that's usually in the 2 to 5 hours a week. But you have to understand you're not going to be working on your own project as a volunteer. And for credit, each lab has its own expectations for getting academic credit. How many hours do you have to put in for 1, 2, or 3 credits is something you have to ask about. The other piece is, when do you get started? Sooner rather than later, because there's a lot of homework that you need to do to understand what you're interested in. Are you ready? How much time do you have? This is a link to some questions to ask yourself in preparation to do your homework. I'm not going to go through that. You guys can do that later. You can do research here or away. Summer undergraduate research is generally away. And for freshmen, I recommend that you start thinking about that. It's harder for freshmen to get involved in research just because you're more of a risk. You're still figuring out college life, and faculty are less likely to take you. I'm not saying it's impossible, it's just less likely. So you can do research in the summer as an internship at a company or a government, as a co-op, which is full-time 6 months and paid, and you stay a full-time student. You can do summer undergraduate research programs, or you can do research abroad. Internships and co-ops are usually for students that already have experience, so juniors and seniors. Summer undergraduate research programs are generally at universities, and there's a handful of research abroad programs, and our study abroad courses in the College of Science all have a strong research component. Everything that you do from here on out is about relationships. I mean, again, you can't do anything alone. All of you, regardless of what you do next, will require references and letters of recommendation. If you're going to be in a STEM field, then you're going to need a reference from a science person, generally a faculty member or an academic advisor, or both. Med schools require a certain number of recommendations from science faculty. This helps you build your network in terms of helping you be successful in the classroom, getting involved in research, study abroad, and internships. Those all help you increase your GPA, retain information, get better placements after graduation, shorten your time to degree, all of those things, in part because you find good mentors to help you through along the way. I still talk to my undergraduate research advisor 20 years later. You get good advice from these folks. They help you connect to resources that you might not think about, and there's that letter of recommendation piece. If you guys are interested in undergraduate research at Penn State, it's good to think outside of your department or major. Yes, look at your department or major and those faculty, but step outside. You can search this profiles here by keywords. One of my favorite searches is genetics. And note the people in liberal arts that come up. You might think that's weird, but there are people working on research questions in places that you might not expect. And if you can step outside of the box and look at those, it will help increase your probability of success. If you click on Dr. Weiss, it'll bring up his profile. It'll show a narrative why he came up with the search. and it'll give a list of publications. I recommend students, if you're going to approach faculty about research, you come up with about a list of 10. Pay attention to be sure they're here at Penn State, but be sure you go back to the main Penn State website to be sure you get the most up-to-date and accurate information. This profiles page, the data is updated once a year or less. It's like an old phone book. So you want to be sure you go to the faculty members' departmental website to get the best information. So this is my how to contact faculty. These are, as usual, the links in yellow. Do your homework, read about the faculty member, address them formally. Keep your email to 5 to 7 lines. Be sure your grammar is good. Let somebody else read it for you. I'm happy to read draft emails for you. Faculty filter emails at a level much more intensely than you do. So 5 to 7 lines. Your goal is to request a face-to-face meeting to talk about research, to get advice and that kind of thing. I tell students, like, asking a faculty member if you can join their research group in an email when you've never met them is like walking up to a stranger on the sidewalk and asking them to marry you. It's kind of weird, and if they say yes without having met you, they might be crazy. So keep that in mind. When you're sending the email, if you're asking for a meeting, be sure to include your availability at the end of the email. Your goal is to make it as easy as possible. Here's some do's and don'ts about, contacting faculty. Some of this is really funny. We do make a little bit of fun of how you guys communicate with us. I'll let you have a look. So how and when, this is another link to a self-assessment, questions to ask yourself. It really depends on you. You have to know what your interests are, what your goals are, what do you want to get out of research, how much time do you have and when, and do you need to get paid or can you volunteer or get academic credit? Like I said, there's fewer opportunities to get paid during the academic year, but faculty understand that some students have to choose between working in order to pay their bills and tuition and undergraduate research. And in those cases, many faculty will do what they can to help find a way to get you paid. There are all kinds of resources at Penn State. Again, I'm not going to go through these. You can peruse these yourself. There is a way to get to know faculty. There's a faculty lunch where you can take faculty to lunch for free. You get one free a semester. Faculty can go unlimited. I don't recommend going by yourself. Gather, 2 to 4 friends, go in a group, take a faculty member to lunch or coffee. Have a list of questions you want to ask them ready to go. It's a great opportunity to get to know faculty, and faculty get really excited about free food. We were students for a very long time. So here are some other places to search. The Undergraduate Ed website has some undergraduate research opportunity posted. However, there aren't that many, and some of them have been posted there a while. The reason faculty don't post undergraduate research opportunities is because they don't want to get emails from 200 students. They want to get emails from 5 students who are a good match for their lab and who are able to really commit. If you need to get paid, there are some wage payroll jobs as undergraduate research technicians, and you can look at those. And there are all sorts of grants and programs available. Search for those, pay attention. I send an email once or twice a week that are nothing but opportunities for you guys, and I only have about a 30% open rate. And it's always really sad when I have juniors and seniors saying, well, I didn't know about that. Well, you did, I just couldn't make you pay attention. So read emails from me, there could be something really great in there for you. I love summer undergraduate research. It helps maximize your probability of success because they are full-time, 6 to 12 weeks. You don't have classes and other activities interfering. You just do research. They pay you. They pay for your housing, your travel to get there. Many of them give you a meal allowance. They have career and professional development workshops and social activities and a symposium at the end where you present your research, and they help extend your network beyond Penn State. Most of these are away from Penn State. I encourage you to let go of staying in Pennsylvania or wherever your home state is, because it narrows your options. And it also means you think a lot of yourself, like, oh, I'm not going to apply for that because I want to stay here. These are all very competitive, and you're not applying because you don't want to have to decide. I recommend applying broadly, including places in the middle of nowhere, to increase your probability of success. Yes, apply for some close to home, but if you have a choice in the end, great. If not, oh well, take what you can get. These pay about $4,000+, cash money in your pocket, because all the other stuff is paid for. It's a good deal. However, it's a lot of homework. So if you do this search, Summer Undergraduate Research Program, I recommend trying it. You should all get a slightly different number. I searched a few weeks ago and I got 2.3 million. This should be up around 16 million now. If you search it in quotes, Summer Undergraduate Research Program, so it searches it as one phrase as opposed to each word individually. This was again a few weeks ago. You get 34,000. I checked yesterday, it was about 55,000. And if you search Summer Research Intern, there are a whole bunch of others that come up. And this is my, don't do things for free when you can get paid to do it. That doesn't make any sense. And definitely don't pay for it when you could get paid to do it, because that makes even less sense. The Big Ten Academic Alliance has a Summer Undergraduate Research Program. Every application process is different. This is a link to a Summer Undergraduate Research Program at Duke, just to give you a sense. All the eligibility and program goals are different. The applications open October, November, and close January or February. What that means for you is you need to have relationships with faculty and know what you're going to apply for before winter break. And that's just because when you come back, there's not enough time to figure out what you're going to apply for and build relationships with faculty and ask them to write letters of recommendation. Most of the programs require transcripts. They're going to ask you GPA and demographic information, what the requirements are. So there are two kinds of language. Eligibility requirements, those are cut and dry. You have to follow those. If you don't hit one of those, don't apply. You're in the no pile. And then there is preference given to. And if it says preference given to, there's more flexibility. Program goals tell you a lot about what they're looking for. They'll ask you about skills and experience. Don't make assumptions about why they're asking. Sometimes they will ask because they do want experience, and sometimes they'll ask because they don't want experience. The program goals will tell you that. They will ask you why you're interested in research. They will ask you about your career goals, and they'll ask you why you are interested in different. And these are things to think about. When you write these, let somebody else look at them. This is a link to how to ask faculty for letters of recommendation. That's important. There are a whole bunch of different ways to search. I Google everything. Pathways to Science is one of my favorites because it allows international students to check that I'm the international student box, what is available to me. You can search STEM programs. I'm an undergraduate, first year student. I'm going to search everywhere. Oh, I wanted to do, okay, I messed up. I'll do it again. So advanced search. This is where I wanted to show advanced search. Undergraduate first year, and I'm just going to say non-citizen, and then you can look at all fields just to get a sense. 65 programs, but you have to read each one individually to find out exactly what they're looking for. These are some international research programs. Every national or federal agency has summer research programs. The National Council on Undergraduate Research, National Labs, NASA has some scholarships on campus, think tanks and nonprofit, job search sites for internships, and also Nittany Lion Career Network for internships. Graduate schools, for those of you interested in doing a master's or PhD that is research focused, graduate schools have programs. The American Association for Medical Colleges, American Physical Society, American Chemical Society, all of those have listings of summer research and tips. And there's also a research abroad program for those of you who do research while you're here and go abroad. You can go do research or teach English in another country. It's nice and get paid. And that is it for today. We have walk-in hours shown here, and we also have a calendar of events and deadlines that you're strongly encouraged to check out. We put summer research deadlines, fellowship deadlines, internships, events on resumes, and how to get involved in other ways. So check it out. And if you have questions, give me a shout. Thanks.